the radiographer was like, what a good baby, what a good baby, good job. And then baby just like was head down and refused to move. He listened to the baby's heartbeat for the first time, basically on 150 mg of aspirin a day. I think if it gets really bad, you can have to use crutches, which is terrifying. Week 16 was really tough of the pregnancy for sure. So like the gum situation wasn't great, but I just was on it straight away with what I could do. We're now on week 26. It's been 10 weeks since then. I have made no progress with finding a dentist. Then week 17 was when I felt the faintest little flutter in my lower belly. It was at night and I was like, oh, that's a very different sensation than I've ever felt before. Could it be the baby? Very, very exciting to feel that. And obviously, like I said, like from like week 14 to 15, I was feeling quite anxious. I obviously was not feeling anything, which is not anxious that I wasn't feeling it, but just anxious because my symptoms had completely reduced. And then you're not feeling the baby, so it's like, what's going on? But alhamdulillah, yeah, that's the first time I felt baby move. And then I had my antenatal appointment with midwife. It's the second time that I've seen her. She basically just took a urine sample and checked my blood pressure. No blood test then, thank goodness. My blood pressure was actually on the lower side, I think because it was like first thing in the morning. And I asked her about my iron levels too, because I was like, I didn't hear anything back from my blood results from week 8 or week 12. She said if anything, my iron levels are a little bit too high. But she said it's not like anything to worry about, but she's like, I'm not concerned about your iron, so it's just good. And then she asked me how I was getting on with the aspirin, and I have to be very honest, guys, like I was very irresponsible. So even though she did tell me to start taking aspirin at our first appointment, the booking appointment, I hadn't started up until then. From week 17 till now, so for the last, yeah, again, almost 10 weeks, I have been taking my aspirin. But yeah, I'm basically on 150 mg of aspirin a day. And that is because my mum had high blood pressure when she was expecting me, and also I think because of like I think I have 2 risk factors. I think that was one of them. It's my first pregnancy as well, and yeah, so it basically is just to reduce the risk of preeclampsia, which is when you have very, very sudden severe swelling to everywhere, headaches, nausea, feeling dizzy, sickness, and essentially can harm the baby. Your blood pressure like skyrockets. So the aspirin is essentially there to just work as a preemptive measure to reduce any clotting and things like that. So yeah, I wasn't that happy about taking medicine daily, but at the end of the day, if it's gonna like help the baby and help me, and it'd be silly not to. And the pills are tiny, so I've always had a problem with swallowing pills. I've always been pathetic about it. Like I've never been able to do it. But obviously it's now like literally been almost 3 months since I've been taking it, and I can swallow absolutely fine. And now I can even swallow. So like the paracetamol like not capsules, the tablets that are that big now. Before I literally would have to get the capsules and open them and then eat them or drink them with juice. But that's not good because those are obviously more potent, and the coating is supposed to dissolve in your stomach. So if you're just taking like heavy hits of that, it's not very good for like your inside linings. So I was like, right, if I've been able to take aspirin for almost 3 months now, I think I can try and swallow some paracetamol. And alhamdulillah, like what I'm doing is the just the normal tablets, I'm just halving them and I'm able to swallow them now, alhamdulillah. Like I was just reflecting on that, like I just took paracetamol before I picked the camera up again, and it was like subhanallah, like so much of the stuff that I was fearing with pregnancy and like especially like medical stuff and health stuff, like it's been made so easy and smooth for me. Even like my double blood test today, it's still like it was still horrible, it's still nerve-wracking, but I felt that my body was a lot more calmer. I was doing my zikr, and yeah, it was because it was double. She did it twice. She was like, you will have a bruise there and stuff like that. But she was like, the second one was really good. She was like very, very experienced, and she did it so quickly, and alhamdulillah, it was fine. So yeah, I'm just really like I'm proud of myself, but most of all, I'm so grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like making this like much more easier than I could have ever imagined. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Week 17 was when I had lower back pain start, and it's very uncomfortable. Both times it was just before bed and it was quite severe, and it was both times when I was having more of an active day than my usual kind of day. Between week 17 to week 24, which is the next time I wrote anything, we moved house, and those weeks were pretty horrendous. Like I did not have time to do any updates on my phone. It was not a good time, especially the week that we were moving. So overwhelmed and so emotional. Horrendous move. It was really horrendous. Obviously, after the actual moving week, it wasn't stressful. It was just getting things sorted. I'm really aware that, again, I was in my second trimester and I wanted to get as much of the apartment done as possible. But these things just take time. Like, we've literally only just had our king size bed delivered this week, and then we're going to pick the mattress up tomorrow. Tomorrow, inshallah, Kara's going to be making the bed. So we've been sleeping on our normal bed, which has been fine. Obviously, there is a big baby hug me pregnancy pillow in the middle of us. Supposed to ideally sleep on your left side, but like Islamically we sleep on the right side, so you know, either way there's a big pillow like somewhere on either side of me. The treat of having a king size bed we are so excited about, inshallah. But yeah, we've not been using our main bedroom at all because of that, because I haven't been able to unpack properly as well, because we got a storage bed, which is really exciting, but obviously there's a lot of stuff that's in that room that needs to go inside the storage bed, inside the storage even. So yeah, that's going to be done in the next couple of weeks, inshallah. But like in general, the apartment is done as much as possible, but let me get back to my symptoms. So then week 24, I had my 24-week appointment. Now this is a week that Wakar had gone away to America. It was my first appointment without him. I didn't have a blood test, so it was fine. I felt very fine about it. Just like a normal urine sample as usual. There was a student midwife along with my usual midwife, and basically she listened to the baby's heartbeat for the first time, which was really exciting. She like knows like how present Wakar is, alhamdulillah, and like how like already like hands-on he is. So she was literally like, do you want to bring your phone as well so you can record it for him, which was so sweet. And it was just so funny, guys, because when she was like putting the jelly on for the machine, so it's very similar to the ultrasound machine but smaller, student midwife, the baby was like kicking so much, and it's now got to the point, by the way, where we can like see the belly move. Like I can't obviously, like the baby's still too small to like see any handprints or footprints, and I'm not gonna lie, that freaks me out a little bit. You can see the stomach move. It's surreal, subhanAllah. I think maybe week 22 was when I first like was sitting on the chair next to Wakar, and he was on the laptop, and I looked down and I saw my belly move as I felt a more of a stronger kick. The movements were getting stronger as the weeks were going on, but yeah, I think week 21, 22 is when I saw it and I was like, and literally like we were so lucky because there's so many reels and TikToks on the internet where it's like when I feel my baby move, baby's like woo 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 woo, and then I get my husband to come and the baby's like she was like, "Why? Quick!" He turned around the chair, put his hand on my tummy, and like he felt it as well. Like the faintest little like subhanallah, like just so surreal, amazing. But anyway, so yeah, so by week 24, like it was so funny because literally lying there and like I saw it, and then they also saw it, like whoa, baby, like, she was like I was like, hi, and very, very active, alhamdulillah, at that point in time. So she was like, right, we'll just let baby settle down a bit. So because everything else was fine, you know, she'd gone for everything else. 10 minutes later, I went back into the room and we got a strong heartbeat, alhamdulillah. So that was good. And this was like where, but at this point, the baby was like moving sort of like here. The baby's still sitting quite low, but like I would say like I could feel the movements like along my stomach. And then sort of 4 days in, I felt baby, I'm sure I did, I'm sure I'm not imagining this, but I felt baby like turn so that the feet was the bottom. I feel like baby's back was towards my outer stomach. Because of that, I couldn't feel the movements as much. I realised one of the days I was going to have like San's wife over. Really love her, she's so sweet. And I've been like quite busy this week, so the week Wakar is away as well. On the Tuesday we went to New Bowling Alley, which was so cool. And I had the girls over on a Wednesday, and this was a Thursday. But I realised I hadn't felt movement in about 6 hours. I started freaking out a little bit, and then I was like, oh, I'm just going to call up the maternity triage and just let them know, and I'm sure they're going to be like, oh yeah, it's normal, you know, baby's probably just turning around. But no, she was like, okay, you've not felt it, okay, is there a way you can come in? And I was like, what? She's like, do you have transportation? Are you okay to get to the hospital? And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, I should be able to do that. And it was very stressful, very stressful. First time I went to hospital by myself, went to the wrong entrance, went to A&E, went to another entrance. Oh, it's a big hospital, so it was stressful just doing it all by myself. And then by the time I was crying on the way, and by the time I got there, like I just was in a state, and obviously took my blood pressure, took my temperature, and I had to do a urine sample. But alhamdulillah, she was able to find the heartbeat and it was all good. And they've been so good, and this is a case across the country, but they're so good with as soon as you notice a little bit of a change in movement or anything like that, just give us a call, just come in. We'd rather you have a safe and baby be safe, you have a sound mind and everything be good, than just you sitting at home having anxiety and potentially something being wrong. Because obviously there's no way to communicate with the baby at this point other than their movements. But at this stage, it's very, very hard to like know the pattern, and this is something that I just didn't expect as well. Like, obviously, it's a first-time pregnancy, so there's so much to learn. You really are told over and over by midwives that, like, you know, it's your body, it's your baby. You'll know baby's patterns and movements. And I said to my midwife, I was like, this is on a 24-week appointment. I was like, but how will I know? I was like, it's the first time. So I feel like an imposter. I feel like how am I supposed to know? She was like, you'll pick up a pattern. And so at this point, I'm now week 26, and I'm still hoping to get more of a pattern, but I am definitely getting stronger movements. But I have been in twice. I was in this week as well week 25, just to check up again, because I called in for 2 other symptoms just to check they were normal, and I was like, I feel like the baby's turned again, and I can't feel movements so strongly, and they were like, just come in and have a check, and alhamdulillah it was fine. But yeah, there's something to like bear in mind, is that they're never going to say don't come in, and they're never going to say, oh, don't worry. They're just going to say just come and get checked over just in case. And it is a mass, like, alhamdulillah, what a relief to be able to just go in whenever you need to and be checked over. But I have been talking to a couple of my colleagues, had their first babies in the last couple of years, and they said the same thing. They said, the anxiety is unreal. It's so hard because like it's a lot of responsibility on the mum, aside from like doing everything else you just do in your day-to-day life and like trying to have this healthy balanced diet. You now also have to be trying to make sure you have enough movement. And they said they used to like say that you need to have about 10 movements every 2 hours, but they say they don't say that anymore. They say because every mum's so different, every baby's so different, you just kind of become in tune with your body. But yeah, still waiting for that to happen. Alhamdulillah, like being able to feel baby move more and more and more is just a massive relief. So week 25, which was last week, that is the first week that I started having something called PGP, pelvic girdle pain, and it is common in pregnancy. About 20% of women get it in pregnancy, and basically there was a TikTok that I found of a midwife, and she's literally got a bone structure of a pelvis and she is smashing it apart with a hammer, or smashing it with a hammer. And I kid you not, guys, that's how it felt like. The start of the week, it was like, oh, that's not comfortable. It was more towards the front, like the groin area. And then I think it was the day I went in to have a check as well. It was Wednesday. Was so horrendous. It was so sore that I could hardly walk. It was very painful, and I honestly felt so debilitated that I was like reduced to tears. I've never felt pain like this, because whatever I was doing was causing pain. Whether I was sitting down, and then when I was getting up, I was in pain. When I was walking about, I was in pain. Even just sitting in my spinning chair trying to do my editing was in pain. It was horrible. When I went in to check the baby's heartbeat, I spoke to her, and the first midwife that I spoke to on the phone, she said, look, if you're still having this pain when you have your next midwife appointment, which is in October, then she can refer you to a physio. However, it did get progressively worse that day. So by the time I got to the hospital, I was like, I'm limping. I was like, it was so hard to even walk from the front of the hospital down to this ward. So she's like, I'm referring you today. And alhamdulillah, the next day I got a text from NHS and the number that I had to call to book in my appointment, which was amazing. I now have an appointment for the first week of October, so it's amazing. Alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful for the speed of that, because some people are waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think if it gets really bad, you can have to use crutches, which is terrifying. And honestly, it really is debilitating. But what I learned quickly was that my thing of like paracetamol, not taking too many medications, like no. Like if that's there for a reason, take it and just use it. So that's the same night when I got back, I had 2 paracetamols, and honestly the pain greatly reduced, and the next day I felt like I was 90% better. This morning I woke up and I was like, it was at about 20%. It's uncomfortable. There's lots of things you can do. There's exercises you can do. There are like tips and tricks, like when you're sitting down, even the way I'm sitting now, I shouldn't really be sitting like this. And it's so hard because like I lounge. The way I sit, I love crossing my legs. I love sitting cross-legged and crossing my legs. And I love like lounging back. And really, you're supposed to keep your pelvis aligned with your spine, because basically why this is happening, and it's not anyone's fault as well. I was like, have I done something wrong here? But it's not. Your body releases something called relaxin, which is starting to relax all of your muscles and your bones and your pelvis area, your legs, your back, your front, everything. Get ready to like, inshallah, at the end, push your baby out. But it means that you can feel very, very wobbly, just in pain. My back pain's been pretty bad as well. I'm just praying that doesn't get too bad, because honestly, alhamdulillah, my second trimester has been so smooth sailing overall. Other symptoms are like breathlessness, definitely get that for sure. That swelling, like I said, appetite changes, like there's nothing that I really can't have anymore that I have aversions to. Obviously there's still stuff that you can't have, like sushi, and yeah, alhamdulillah, like diet's been fine. Like also the last 2 weeks I've had pretty bad acne. You can't tell on this camera, really bad, especially around my mouth, flaring up, and not just acne that just looks horrible, but it's just painful. Like, it actually hurts. So that's not been fun, because obviously you can't use as strong products as you usually do. It seems to have calmed down for now. Let's not hold our breaths. My taste changed as well last week. So everything tasted really perfume-like. But anyway, they said it's not nothing to be concerned about. It's just a bit annoying, but yeah. But the main thing is, alhamdulillah, baby's movements are a lot stronger now. At this point, I still don't feel like there's a pattern, but it was just the greatest joy ever to see baby on the screen today. The little face, so cute, so cute. 21, I think. I had my 20-week scan and everything went good. It was all fine. It was so funny. The radiographer was like, "What a good baby, what a good baby, good job." And then baby just like was head down and refused to move. She's like, "Oh, baby heard." She's like, "Oh, you think I'm going to be good?" Well, no, I'm not. And she got me to turn over on my right side and then turn back. Tried to look again. Baby still wasn't moving. Turn over to my left side, look back. Went for a walk. Came back, baby still wasn't moving. So today was like the follow-up of that. The same thing kind of happened where they couldn't get the right measurements for the top of the skull, but then she was like, "Oh, it looks like you've had a lot of water," because obviously I just had my GD test as well and I was just only allowed to sip water. She's like, "So why don't you go to the toilet, empty the bladder out, and then let's see if that helps." And alhamdulillah, this time that baby seemed to be lying across the way and we were getting such a cute little profile of her face, and then the head and the measurements, alhamdulillah, everything's good. So I'm just feeling really now. Like, travelling down south, so I'm going to be in MK and inshallah my baby shower part 1, which will be exciting. So I will take this camera. Most of the time, to be honest, I'm just going to be editing. I've got a lot of work to do and to be catching up with, but I do want to try and vlog a little bit of the baby shower because yeah, it's exciting. My sisters and cousins really wanted to throw me a baby shower, which is so sweet and so appreciated. And I just thought, like, I'm not going to want to be coming down south in November, December when I'm way into my 3rd trimester, inshallah. So let me just stick to this day because I'm really going to be down. I'm really going to be heading down that way anyway, so it makes sense to do that then. And then inshallah, we'll see about Dundee. We might have one, might not, but if we do, it'll be closer to the due date, inshallah. But yeah, alhamdulillah, like overall 2nd trimester has been so much better than the first one, for sure. There's obviously, like, there have been symptoms and stuff, and like, you know, there's a lot more blood going around, and I'm getting, oh, restless leg syndrome. That's a weird one. That's so strange, but I really don't have time to carry on talking, and this is so long. I am so grateful if you have watched up to this point, honestly. Like, it means the world to me. I will catch up with you guys soon in another update little video. Woo! Take care, guys. Bye.